what's the point of the work if you're not, I am very passionate about this too. Like, what is the point of the work if you don't even like yourself? Like, what's the point of waking up? When you said this on the last one we had, is imagine waking up and setting your alarm based on the time that you need to get to work, like putting your work before yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point of working and using work as an excuse when you don't even you can't, you're working so you don't have enough time to spend on yourself, to actually give yourself that clarity so you can have some new insight on yourself and have a level of introspection to go, okay, these are the things that are serving me. These are the things that are not. To not even designate any time to that. And your excuse is, I'm busy, I've got work. Well, then your priorities are clearly off.
Oh, yeah.
Because what's the point of the work? What's the point of the money? Because you might make all the money in the world, but then you get to your bed and your head hits the pillow and you're thinking about the day that just went. And there's just this missing piece in your life, a lack of purpose, a lack of drive, a missing why.
Yeah.
And for me, I just think it's like there's all the excuses in the sun, but until you have a level of introspection where you know who you are deep down, all the excuses are bullshit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and there's validity to needing to make money and so support your family and do all of those things. But again, it's not an excuse to not actually act on, hey, I need to do something for myself, right? Because parents, for example, use their kids as just the prime excuse of, oh, well, I have to go to work so I can support my family. And they think that money is the only way you support your family. But what if your kids had an example of somebody that is very, very self-valuing, I guess we'll say? Would you not want them to have that example so they do the same for themselves? Right? The being a hero comes from treating yourself well first and then having enough energy and capacity to treat other people incredibly. You know, it's the whole, you put the oxygen mask on yourself before you give it to the next person in the plane so you can actually operate, right? And there's just this hero dynamic that people get wrong, you know, because pure selflessness, people think that that's, oh, I'm being a hero. You know, I'm sacrificing myself to give to somebody else. What if everybody did that? If every single person in the world did that same thing, nobody would ever get help.
Well, you know what the answer is it's extreme ownership.
Yeah.
How can you be selfless and put everyone else's needs before yours, but then you don't even love yourself?
Yeah.
think about, imagine walking through life and being like, yeah, I'm putting other people first, but then you look in the mirror and you're not even proud of who looks back. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You're not leading by example.
Yeah.
You're bowing down before even building yourself up. And I think there is a part of me that goes, perhaps a lot of people do live their lives like that, and they use this selflessness identity as a cop-out and an inability to take ownership.
Well, I mean, it's the lowest hanging fruit of being a hero. Some people are the hero of the most bullshit campaign ever. You know what I mean? It's just being a hero of a lie is not heroic, even if it gets all the clicks and the views on Instagram. Right? I mean, think of how many people are the quote unquote hero of you are the bad guy. Think of how many people are the hero of I am the bad guy. As of very recent, they feel like they're being a hero. Poor them, because being the hero of a lie is not heroic. It's a lie, right? And the ownership, the responsibility, people think that that's the scariest thing ever, right? So the reason people obsess over this idea of work is because, okay, well, I'll show up to this thing consistently because I quote unquote have to. Now, I'm not saying to just go and quit your job. Yeah, you have to. Yes, of course. But the have to is actually enforced by somebody else, right? So it's someone else's authority, and that's very comfortable for a lot of people. Because, God, if the business falls apart, glad it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Oh, if this doesn't go well, not my fault. It's the diffusion of responsibility, and people love that. I think responsibility is great. I think it's perfect. You know, people want an income that will never, ever change. It'll never go below a certain number, and they have that security. But the cost of that security is not knowing what your purpose is, right? Showing up to a thing that maybe you hate every single day. Whereas every dollar I make, let's make it. You know what I mean? I have to create the opportunities. I have to do the things. And it's a lot of responsibility. You know, and I think salespeople actually have a really close understanding of this concept, because you hit a great month in sales, but the next month is starting, and now I'm back at 0. Now I have to do that again. Well, I thought it would just be repeated. You know, I thought I would just be on a retainer and it would come my way. No, you're responsible again.
Yeah, I agree with this. I also think, though, everything comes down to your relationship to the thing.
Yeah.
You can be an employee and you can still love your life. It comes down to your relationship to it, right?
Yeah.
Deep down. Now, we can't just say that everyone that goes around saying they love their job actually loves their job, because that's the reality is they don't. Yeah. But I think the relationship to it is the thing that matters. You can truly love your job, and that's awesome. And I respect that wholeheartedly. Coming back to this ownership piece, though, if you love your job, but potentially there's a part in your life that you don't love, maybe you've got kids as well that you really want to support, but because you have kids and you want to support them and you love your job, all of a sudden there's not enough hours in the day to train anymore. So then you stop going to the gym. And then when someone asks you why you're out of shape, you say, oh, that's what kids does to you. I'm sorry, but like, you may love your job. You may love your kids and want to support your kids. But I still think that it's a hard-hitting belief, but the reality is everything in your life, good or bad, you chose. You're choosing to be in that position. You chose to have kids. Oh, well, it was an accident. Well, you didn't wear a condom. You chose to have kids.
Are you trying to get in trouble again?
Well, everything is a choice, I think. And you chose to be in that position. So if you complain about absolutely any of it, understand that you're the very person that put yourself in it. And so, and look, people might be like, oh, but this happened to me. Okay, but that person did this stuff. It's like, well, you let that person in your life. It's like, there's a level of ownership that needs to be had with every facet of your life. And you may well love your job and you may, have kids and want to support them, but you can't support them because the job's not making yourself enough money. But understand that you're choosing to be in a job that isn't making enough money to support the kids, because there's other stuff out there that makes more money. Hence why people drive Lamborghinis, because they can afford it.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. And I think, of course, tragic things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things out of your control. I mean, not everybody can control how their family treats them. And, kids get beat when they're little and they haven't done a damn thing yet. Of course, we're not talking about those things here. I mean, ownership is recognizing, hey, I actually do have some control here, right? And let's say the job thing is the thing that bothers you. It's not about, oh, let me just quit the job. Let me just change the job. Maybe it comes down to changing how you treat yourself every other hour that you're outside of the job, right? Because that makes a big difference. And this isn't just screw the 9 to 5, alpha kind of thing.
Definitely not.
It's just do the 9 to 5 and be involved and have a purpose within that job. Be connected to the people that you're working with, do projects with ambition and energy, and then leave work and use everything you've done at work as a tool to support what you care about at a baseline, right? Because like you're saying, people will give up the smallest little things that they care about that might well be a huge anchor to this clarity that we've been talking about for the work. And then they've lost something really important and they don't even realize it. Because, if somebody likes, I don't know, BMX riding or something, and then they don't have enough time to do that anymore because now they have to go to work, right? And they have to make more money. Sure, that sounds like a very reasonable excuse, but I would say you should really emphasize making a little bit of time to get back on the bike, because it's a form of progression. It's a form of something you actually care about. You never got paid to ride BMX, so why would you give it up now that you're not getting paid? Because of growing up? If growing up means that you just suck ass and don't do anything cool now, then growing up is not really the way, right? And if figuring out your quote unquote purpose means going to college and then you get to the end of the 4 years and now you're assigned a thing that you're supposed to do and you stay in that lane forever, that's not finding a purpose. That's called a trick. And I do not like that trick.
Yeah, and I also think the language is important. Yeah. Even saying have to in itself is boxing you in, because it's making you believe that you have to do this.
Yeah.
Who said that you have to do this?
Yeah.
Or this doesn't? Who said that BMX doesn't have to make you money? Who said that it can't?
Yeah.
Is there people making money that ride BMX? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
So what, you have this belief in your mind that's boxing you in that it can't make money. If you truly love the thing, guess what? People are doing it, and you could make money from it.
Yeah.
Even nowadays, if it's not even if it's not even professional, it's like, okay, we'll start a YouTube channel and then sell bike parts.
Yeah.
It's like you can make money from the thing.
Yeah.
But perhaps it's the limiting beliefs and the programs and the stories that you're telling yourself about the thing that makes you not believe that you can even do that. Well, I like what you said before, though, as well, about the all of the time spent outside of the 9 to 5. Someone might be complaining, but then if you assess their 24 hours, they're like the stuff they're doing outside the 9 to 5 is just brain rotting them and not even progressing them towards anything else. It's not actually a matter of not having time. At 1 hour is what, 4% of your day, whatever it is. Yeah. It's like, there's probably so much other time that you're spending on things that actually aren't serving you as well outside of that job that you supposedly love or hate.
It takes an override, in my opinion, to where if somebody is just rotting their brain away outside of work, it's probably because they're trying to emotionally and mentally recover from being at work all day. And so they do that, and then it brings them into this cycle of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Whereas it would be more work at the beginning to go ride the bike. You know what I mean? Or to go for a swim or go by the lake and throw the ball for an hour. It would be more work because it's literally something to do versus nothing to do, right? So it's just taken as, it's more energy. Just another thing to do. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. But the energy that you get from going to the lake and throwing the ball for an hour, it would be hard to compare. It's not even comparing the same thing, because that is a seemingly unproductive thing, but it's productive enough for you to have brought it up during this conversation to try and hopefully help somebody that's listening to this episode make their life better. Well, so there was really something to it, you know what I mean? But not making the time for it, you'll never receive the actual energy. But again, you have to override it. You have to bite the freaking bullet and go, I'm doing the thing. And you got to do that every single day. So then you can build that kind of energy, and then it feeds off itself. It's a positive feedback loop instead of a negative one.